Hey bookmarks and bookworms, welcome back to Bookmas Day 6. In today's video I'm going to talk to you about all of the new translated fiction that I'm excited to read in 2024. Let's roll the Bookmas intro. All 7 of today's books that I'm going to talk about are eligible for the International Booker 2024, so fingers crossed today I've picked some good ones that we will continue to see throughout 2024. So the book I'm going to start with today is called Fresh Dirt from the Grave, and this is a kind of very dark short story collection coming from a Bolivian woman called Giovanna Rivero, and she's being published by Szabo Press. Here we have 6 interlinked short stories, all very sombre and dark in tone, borderline disturbing. There are things to do with the legitimacy of revenge and the body as a corpse in which we inhabit. Szabo Press is a big hit when it comes to the International Booker. They tend to get on very well and at least have 1 or 2 showings each year. So could this be the showing for this year? This will be more of a challenge for me as someone who is not naturally inclined towards short story collections, but I'm hoping the gothic element and the writing really pays off in this one, and that is what keeps me hooked throughout, because Mariana Enriquez's short story collection that played with similarly dark themes, it was called The Dangers of Smoking in Bed and was nominated for the International Booker several years ago. That I really got on with, so I'm hoping this is in the same vein as that. I mean, it's coming from the same continent, so who knows. The next one is by Linnea Axelsson. This is coming out at the end of January 2024 and it's called Aednan. I am so excited for this one. This one is actually going to be my book club pick for February and March this year. It's spanning 2 months just because of the size of it. It's, I think, almost 500 pages, and so that's why if you were around last week for my anticipated 2024 releases video and wondered why Aiden appeared twice in this pictograph, I guess, of next year's book choices for my book club that I run every month. Aiden is depicted twice, February and also for March, just because I want to read it with you guys over 2 months because of the length of it, whereas the other books for the book club are all around the 300-page mark and so are more manageable to get through just in 1 month alone. You can sign up for the book club anytime you like, following the link in the description box below. But now let's get into what this book is actually about. It's written by a Swedish woman who is known for her poetry already, but this is actually her debut English language novel, so this is the first time that her work is being translated. And this is a multi-generational poem that is invoking the voices of about a dozen Sami or Sami-related people across both the 20th and the 21st centuries as they try and retain some of their cultural identity and their heritage, and also fighting for their homeland, a space that is constantly being encroached upon by the modern world. Swedish is replacing the Sami languages in schools, trucks are replacing skis, and the traditional migratory routes of reindeer that they have trekked for generations and generations are being replaced. And I think what seals the deal for me is that this is being described as an elegy for a disappearing way of life, and I love a remote setting in a book. This is the sort of northern part of Sweden and all across Scandinavia. So we're going to be in a snowy, isolated setting amongst a community that I have very little awareness of, and I love learning about new people and new places and new customs. I mean, I live in Bali, so kind of I would naturally be inclined to discovering more about different cultures and people. The next book that I'm going to talk to you about today is Meta 2-10. And this is written by a Chinese-born Korean man who was born in 1943 and later jailed for a long amount of time for political reasons. But this is an author who has been nominated for the International Booker once before, and here he's telling a multi-generational tale, which you guys know I absolutely love multi-generational tales, that's weaving together 1 century of Korean history. I got into a Korean book this year called Whale, which I found through the International Booker Prize 2023, and so I'm interested in exploring more Korean fiction, and especially authors that are touching on not only multi-generational, because that plays into generally a historical narrative and finding out more about that culture and that history that I have very little awareness of. But also, naturally, I think Korean authors will offer a different way of storytelling, perhaps a different way of writing. I find unique writing interesting, and the development of writing as we travel across the world and what storytelling looks like in different parts of the world. So this begins during the colonial era, where Japan was the colonizer, and goes all the way up until liberation in the 21st century. And fascinatingly, this is an account of a sort of national longing for a railway that will connect North and South Korea together, and the family ties that will prolong, and the communication and the sense of togetherness. This is supposed to be a masterpiece of this particular author's, 20 years in the making, as sort of a culmination of this one man's whole writing career. Staying in Asia, we're heading to Yu Marie's The End of August. This is another book by a Korean author, but this time a female author, and she's being published by Tilted Axis Press. Now, Yu Marie is already a National Book Award winner, and she is back with a multi-generational tale of a Korean family living under Japanese occupation. Now, this book was originally published in 2004, but is eligible for the 2024 International Booker, as it's only just being translated into English now in the UK. This book has a fairly strong sporting theme, as the family that we follow are a family of marathon runners, and it covers the Tokyo Olympics as well. Presumably one of our main characters participates in the Tokyo Olympics, but it also covers things like World War II and comfort women, ultimately being a tale of survival, sort of David and Goliath situation where there is something massive to be overcome, as well as the universal theme of containment to liberation, because we have death, we have war, we have hope, we have family, we have political upheaval, and even the odd ghost or two. Something that I really appreciate about Korean literature is that they tend to have this magical realist element, I've noticed. Whale has it, and then The End of August and also Meta 2-10 all contain magical realist elements, and I personally am a fan of magical realism. So The End of August and also Meta 2-10, both by Korean authors, both eligible for Booker 2024, and both with a little magical realism twist. And whilst I doubt that both Korean authors will make it onto the International Booker this year, I certainly think one of them will be there. Next up, out in June 2024, this is Living Things by Munir Hashemi. And this, as the keen-eyed amongst you from last week's video on my most anticipated 2024 releases will have noticed, that this is the July book club pick for the book club that I run every month. This is being published by the brilliant Fitzcarraldo Editions, one of my favourite publishing houses, and this follows 4 graduates who travel from Madrid in Spain to the south of France to work the grape harvest there, and end up living nearby at a campsite. And so this is really about immigration, the mass production of living things, our harvesting, and also an examination of the precariousness of employment, especially in those areas of agriculture. Genre-wise, this is a dystopian eco-thriller, which for me right now just sounds fantastic. I've read a couple of dystopians recently, not so much eco-thrillers, but that does sound something that would be for me, which is why it's on this list, and I definitely will be excited to get to my hands on this one and read it alongside you guys for the July book club. So on to the penultimate book. This is Vengeance is Mine, and this is by a very popular and already celebrated French author, Marie Ndiaye. She has already won 2 major French literary awards, the Prix Femina and the Prix Goncourt. So that is pretty impressive in itself. This one that she's bringing to us is a mystery crime thriller centering on a triple homicide. So cheery stuff, folks. But I do love a thriller, especially a literary one, as we follow a middle-aged lawyer living a very sleepy life in Bordeaux until a man turns up at her office one day asking her to defend his wife who's just been accused of a crime. The only twist being that she remembers this guy from her childhood, but he seemingly doesn't remember her. And so she is confused as to his motives behind why he has specifically singled her out, because there are bigger and better lawyers in Bordeaux than her. So why has this man chosen her when he seemingly doesn't remember who she is? And lastly, we have The Living and the Rest, which, if you recognise this author, this is because he also wrote The General Theory of Oblivion, which was International Booker nominated several years ago. This is following David and Moira, who are expecting the birth of their child. They live on an island off the coast of Mozambique, and they are also not only birthing a child into the world, but also birthing their first literary festival that they're hosting on the island. But as their guests arrive, Mozambique is hit by a cyclone. The island that they're on is spared, but it means that there's now total isolation because everything on the mainland has shut down, including communication and signals and everything. And so all the islanders and all the writers that have shown up for this literary festival are all stranded, shut off from the outside world, no phones, and so of course they have to actually talk to each other, the horror, and connect, until at some point they end up hearing the voices of ghosts, and characters from their books show up in real life. So this sounds absolutely fantastic. We're blending the boundaries of fiction and reality, past and present, life and death, and that all becomes blurred, and I absolutely love the sound of that because it adds a little bit of fun and mystery and humour to a book. So those are all the translated fiction reads that I'm excited to get to next year. As I say, all of them are International Booker eligible this year, and so I'm hoping to have chosen a good selection to put onto your radar, and perhaps for you to choose a couple over the next couple of months to get to before the Booker International announcement, just to give you a little head start or to push you into a book that you hadn't realised is out already. So I hope some of these spark your interest. Let me know in the comments below what books you are looking forward to getting to from this list, and any other translated fiction 2024 releases that you're excited to read. Thank you very much for watching Bookmas Day 6. I shall see you in 2 days' time for Bookmas Day 7, which will be my best contemporary reads of 2023. My tip jar is always linked down below. You can leave me a one-off tip, or you can sign up for extra videos every month using the link down below. My members get 2 extra videos every month from me that are not available to anyone else. If you're interested in the book club for next year, I will also leave the schedule for the book club in the description box down below, because I showed the picture of the books on the screen, so feel free to take a screenshot of that or look at the books in the description box below, see which ones you would like to join up for, which ones you wouldn't. The book club membership is a rolling monthly membership, so you don't have to participate every single month. You can pause for some months and unpause for other months. So with that, thank you very much for watching, guys. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I shall see you very, very soon with my next one. Bye, guys.
Christmas is waiting for you. It'll never start without you, never start without you. Christmas is all about you. I see everywhere around.